Hello and welcome to another Eureka announcements video. I'm going to be going over the recently announced slate for February of 2023. They kind of jumped the gun a bit, I think. I don't know when they normally announce these things, but it's usually every month. And they had announced on social media that they're kind of going to announce the February 2023 slate a little bit early. There are two releases to talk about. And I think I mentioned in the last video that it almost felt like I'd picked it from a dream or something. But of course we have Royal Warriors coming in January, I think, with Michelle Yeoh. And I thought, wasn't there a film called Magnificent Warriors, also starring Michelle Yeoh, that they were also releasing, or they had hinted that they were releasing? And it turns out, yes, and that is what's coming in February 2023, first of all. I love the artwork on this slipcover. I think this is a gorgeous piece. And from what I've read, I think they even say it in the synopsis on the website. This is it's inspired by the success of the Indiana Jones franchise, which is code for saying it's an Indiana Jones rip. Well, not a rip-off, but it's, heavily inspired by, inspired by the success of. Almost seems like it's kind of getting around the fact that it's like heavily. But I really don't know, because I've never even heard of this film. Obviously, haven't seen it. So I'm intrigued to see what the similarities are. I'm hoping something more in the vein of like Armor of God, where it feels a bit like kind of Indiana Jones kind of archaeological like romp adventure action film, but with the kind of blistering Hong Kong action that I love in Jackie Chan's films. So this is one of her most popular titles, apparently, and is fully restored in 2K with the film's original theatrical ending. Eureka Classics is proud to present the film on Blu-ray for the first time in the UK, limited to 2,000 copies, with the new artwork on the slipcase by Darren Wheeling. 1080p HD presentation on the Blu-ray of the original theatrical cut, Cantonese and English audio options, both in their original mono presentations, newly translated subtitles for this release, 2 new audio commentaries. This seems to be like the usual suspects now for these Hong Kong releases, which is great. We got one from Frank Jiang and Michael Worth, and another commentary from Mike Leader and Arne Venema. There is a new interview with Richard Ng, a new interview with Lowell Lowe, an archival advert featuring Jackie Chan and Michelle Yeoh, and an archival interview with action choreographer Tung Wai. Trailers, reversible sleeve design, and a limited edition collector's booklet featuring new writing by James Oliver. Limited to 2,000 copies, I think I said that already. So, like I said in the last announcements video, like it's hard for me to get, I'm excited for this release, don't get me wrong, but we still haven't got to December yet, where Yes, Madam is coming out, and then I can kind of finally get a flavor of Michelle Yeoh's kind of action films in the 1980s, because really I'm more familiar with her like post 2000, and I love her in every film I've seen her in, really. And of course it goes without saying, this year Everything Everywhere All at Once was an amazing film. I absolutely loved that. That's probably my favorite film of 2022, which isn't saying too much. I've barely seen a lot of films this year, but I'm really excited to kind of dive into her earlier stuff. And so these 3 kind of monthly releases now: December, Yes, Madam; January, Royal Warriors; and then February we're getting Magnificent Warriors. And I think I'm maybe looking forward to this one the most. I mean, I looked at the trailer, skimmed through it a little bit. I don't think it spoiled too much of the kind of the big action beats, but it looks really cool, and she looks really cool in it. Like, I don't know, I like the vibe of what I'm seeing just at a glance from this film. And seeing it's got all the extras and commentaries and from a 2K restoration, I'm really looking forward to this one. The other release for February 2023, and these both come out, I believe, on, the 20th of February 2023. Our MOC release for the month of February is Violent Streets by Hideo Gosha, 1974 Japanese Yakuza movie. From one of the finest directors of Japanese chambara, which is sword fighting movies, Hideo Gosha, who directed Sword of the Beast and 3 Outlaw Samurai. Also directed a number of films in the Yakuza genre. The most outstanding of these was Violent Streets, a Baroque crime thriller about a retired Yakuza who gets pulled into a violent gang war by his former associates. So I have to say, it might be on the shelf. Yes, okay, so I'll very awkwardly grab this off the shelf if I can. Youth of the Beast, Seijun Suzuki. This is spine number 96 in the MOC collection. This is probably my least favorite film in the MOC line. I didn't love it, and I've seen another Suzuki Yakuza film, and I don't like them very much. But that is one director from one genre. Um, well, I want to like a Yakuza films. Maybe this is the one, and there might be a few more in the collection. I mean, you know, I definitely don't have in my head a mental like Rolodex of like every single film in this massive collection that I haven't seen yet. I think there might be one or two Yakuza movies in there. I have some from Arrow Video. I have the Outlaw Gangster VIP set somewhere. So anyway, Yakuza movies never really drawn me in as much as I would like, but I love pushing myself into things that not that I know that I won't like, but that certain genres that I'm not the most fond of, or because there's things like war movies and musicals that just aren't really my thing. When I force myself to watch ones that are really good, it's like a kind of really fun feeling where you're like, oh wow, I'm glad I watched this because ordinarily I wouldn't have. And that's all part and parcel for me of the whole collecting thing is pushing yourself into new areas. And that's something that my YouTube channel, speaking to other people, the comment sections on these videos and stuff, which I really appreciate. And I do note down the things that you guys suggest. And obviously there's no way in hell I could get to even half of them, but I appreciate the suggestions. I like being pushed in different directions. And so a film like Violent Streets is almost more exciting to me than something I know I'm probably going to love, because it's like it's a challenge, and that's one of the things I love about this collection is how it's challenged me, how it's pushed me into films that, and it really is that kind of brand loyalty thing, right? Where it's like I decided to collect all of these films in the collection, and that went with I had to kind of reconcile that and say, look, there are going to be some films in here I probably won't love. There's going to be some films I'm not really that interested in buying, but I want the whole collection. I want the whole experience, and I want to get as many flavors as possible. And that's what this collection kind of gives me, is just so many different flavors, like I said, feelings, tones, atmospheres, languages, outlooks. There's just so much going on. And the same can be said for any other label, really, like Criterion or Arrow, and so on and so on and so on and so on. But obviously, this is the one I chose as the one I was going to collect every title of. So Violent Streets, it isn't like, will I get this? I'm getting it because it's in the collection. It's by number 273. So yeah, let's look at the extras. Limited edition slipcase featuring new artwork by Tony Stella. I think this looks phenomenal. I love the artwork on this one. This is a 1080p presentation from a 2K restoration of the original film elements, which is great. An introduction to Violent Streets and the works of director Hideo Gosha by film critic Tony Raines. Holy shit. I mean, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but for me, when I see the name Tony Raines on a Blu-ray's special features listings, it's like, I want that even if I don't like the film. Tony Raines is just, he's a legend, and he's a fountain of information, and the way that he imparts film knowledge and trivia and historical and political context to certain things, to me, is just invaluable. I think he's great. I love the guy. And he's doing an introduction to this film for the Blu-ray, but also to the other works of the director. That's the stuff I really like, because now I'm going to note down other films I want to watch, and the list continues growing and growing and growing. And then we have a piece by Jasper Sharp on Violent Streets, and a collector's booklet featuring a new essay by Japanese cinema expert Tom Mez. And then there's a note at the bottom there saying all extras subject to change. I hope that doesn't mean the Tony Raines featurette is in jeopardy, but obviously there might be some other things they want to include that they're not going to unveil at this moment in time. So there we go. That's the two releases for February of 2023. Really looking forward to them. East Asian cinema is a particular passion of mine that I'm still, I started watching these films in earnest over 10 years ago. And I'm still nowhere even near to scratching the surface on so many different things. So for me, Japanese film, Hong Kong film, that's awesome. So that's a pretty exciting month for me as a film fan, as an East Asian cinema film fan, and as a fan of this collection, of course. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of these two releases if you're considering getting them. And I'll see you in the next one.